Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Thrive Not Survive with Coach EO. I'm Coach EO. And with me today, we have Yewande Jinadu, number one, career coach in the continent. Welcome to Thrive Not Survive. So at Thrive Not Survive, we are talking. This is a platform where we engage real life career professionals that look flashy on the outside, but of course have stories and battle scars, like we say. And this is a platform to help people just know they're not alone. Someone has been there, done that, made the t-shirt, maybe burnt the t-shirt. But if we can learn from your life and things that have helped you thrive instead of just surviving, then we'll be better. So we are here today on Thrive Not Survive to share what makes you this number one career coach in Nigeria, in Africa, please. First, we're getting to the world.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Before we go on, I would like you to give an introduction of yourself. Let the people who are going to watch this know who's talking. Why is she sitting here?
Okay, so I'm a people and culture leader. I'm also a credentialed career coach. I specialize in career and leadership coaching. I have a background in engineering, but I found myself one way or the other in HR. And people say I have a passion for HR. I think I do. I think I just have a passion for just helping people and being myself. I think what I do is a reflection of who I really am. So yeah, apart from that, I'm a wife of one and mother of two. Yeah.
That's an interesting one. Wife of one and mother of two. Imagine if it was wife of two and mother of one. But yeah, nice to meet you. So tell us, let's even just go straight into it. So tell us about the things that you've been up to in the last 5 years.
2019 was when I started Career Life. Yeah. So that's exactly 5 years. So yeah, I think that's like my first baby.
What is Career Life?
So Career Life is a non-profit organization. I think, and the vision is to help people achieve measurable success in their career. So I've experienced that divide between the educational system and the reality of work. So what I set out to do in 2019 was, I think the first program was Interview Phobia, was to help people who went to like public universities that they didn't even teach them how to interview or how to thrive or survive in the world of work. So bridging that gap through education, mentoring, and coaching. So Career Life fixes that, and that's where the name came from. Career Life, like your career is like your life, right? So just helping you achieve measurable success and to grow.
Awesome. Let me tell you what I think when I think of Career Life and all the things. So I was talking to you guys for a while and all the things you guys have done. One of the things that I found inspirational was when the one you did in Port Harcourt. You had a Career Life.
This time last year.
Yeah, in Port Harcourt. It was so, I don't know how to explain how it made me feel, because I felt everyone who has a platform, everyone who can, should find some way to give back in this way. I don't think they could have paid what it was worth, all those people. Exactly. I don't think they could have paid. And you knew and tapped into that and got money from wherever and made a free fair where you guys were just preparing people to get into the workforce or to get into the type of careers that they wanted. Reviewing CVs, just doing the speed coaching or mentoring that you guys, it was interesting. Like I was like, what empowers somebody to go there? What makes you go and do this type of thing? What?
Okay, so I think I'll say my own personal story. So I had my why. So I would say that the day I resumed, my first job was in an HR consulting firm. And the first day I resumed, I had an interview. I was supervising in an interview with, I won't mention anyway. Yeah. And then in that interview, they were hiring sales agents. And then one of my colleagues in uni, this is someone I know that was very brilliant, that used to teach me. He came for the interview for a sales agent. And right in my presence, what he was saying, I was like, nah, you don't say that. But I know that this person is smart and intelligent and had the capacity to do that, but did not understand how interviewing worked. Right. So when I saw that experience, when I consistently interview, I just see that people have that same challenge. Right. So in 2019, I think I worked as a full-time recruiter. So my day-to-day was interviewing. And I saw that I would refer people for roles that I knew these people in church or they were my friends. And when they come to me, I'm like, who on earth is this person? I can't even hire you because, my role as an interviewer is to judge you. So it's like, how do I prepare these people for the world of work? So I'm like helping my future self or helping myself, right? So what I started doing before I even started that program, before I even founded Career Life, is I started writing. So, I'm not one that likes to show my face, but it was easier for me to write on my phone, to hide behind my phone and write. So when I have interviews and someone just does the wrong thing, I'll just go online and write, this is how you should or should not do it. Then I think I sent one of my articles to my brother and he was like, it's good, you should publish this. I'm like, you and who? No. And then he made me publish it and he said I should send it to Bella Niger. And I was like, Bella Niger will never accept this because in reality, I write the way I talk till now. I studied engineering. I'm not in English. I don't understand the rules. I just know how to speak, right? So well enough, I sent it and Bella Niger published it. In my mind, I'm like, wow. So that's how it started. And then from writing consistently, people give me feedback that, I liked what you wrote. And in my mind, I'm like, you did? And people used it. And people tell me that I was going for an interview one day and I read your article about interviewing and questions to ask and whatnot. And I applied it and that got me a job. I got it from nothing less than 10 people in a month. And so I said, you know what, let's take it a step further. So when I started Career Life, my first logo was one rubbish logo that someone did for me for free. And then I started this WordPress blog. I started with WordPress. Then I said, okay, let me rebrand it. And I rebranded it. Then I said I wanted to do an event. At that point in time, a normal person should not do an event because, I was just 3 years in my career, number one. As a recruiter, my salary didn't even carry me to the end of the month. And that's the reality. By week 3, I'm already asking my mom for more money. And so why would I do an event? But I just had this burning urge to do it because I felt like it was needed at this point. And so I remember when I started publishing and putting out the event, I've not even paid for the whole, I didn't even know the cost, but I put it out and I put a date, July. And as at May, June, I didn't even know where it was going to come from. I was just talking to my friends. My friends were jittering me, so I had good friends. My fellow recruiters, you can do it. Don't worry, we'll be there for you. After I started this, I did most of it myself, but they just were just gassing me up. And then I started, and then it happened. 3 weeks before the event, I gathered the money, I paid for the venue, made noise on social media as if I had it all figured out, but I didn't. And then it happened, and people came and people got value, did get a lot of value. And the feedback after was really good. So the first program was helping people with interview phobia. And so we had this mock session. So what I was solving was not just for you to come and tell people how to interview better, was for people to actually come and flunk and then learn on So that's the first of its kind that I'd experienced because it happened and people got the feedback and in front of me, someone was shaking. I'm like, guy, you're shaking. He's like, no, I'm not shaking. But then he could see it. And then I think I just had the confidence that if I can do this, even when I didn't have it all, I didn't literally even know what I was doing. So when people say, how did you know awards? I'm like, I didn't plan to be on social media and I just wanted to do what I wanted to. I was helping my future self. I'm happy I did it, and I'm happy about how far we've come. That Port Harcourt one was really good. I was meant to go to Abuja this year, but life happened. Yeah.
Well, I'm really happy you're doing it, really.
Yeah.
It's about figuring out. I always say, I believe this strongly, that the person who sees the need, the burden of closing that gap is on the person. You don't have to do it yourself. You just have to make it happen, sort of. So getting up, we talk a lot about imposter syndrome. It could have been too easy for you to say, yeah, I can't go. What do I know? I just got in. I'm 3 years old. People would think you're supposed to know everything before you move, but you can start from where you are. That's the thing. That's what I'm doing. I'm telling myself, my own future self. Yeah, let's not bother with my past self because, but yeah, start from where you are. And look at what career life is now. There are so many people that can say, because career life happened, because of career life, I went in without the shakes. I wasn't shaking. And that's amazing. To have that where you're like, come and demo how you will be in an interview and let's tell you what you look like. It's amazing. Well done. So all of that is context setting so that you know the person who's sitting here. That's why I asked her to go into that story. So yes, you achieved so much. You are someone who is big on social impacts and you're doing it with yourself. You're being your authentic self in it. And even though sometimes you'd like to remind me of our age gap or experience gap, when I learn stuff from you. I come off as a confident person and I do the things that I can do as myself, like no compromise. But then there are some things that I feel held back in. And as with most people, you're just seeking permission that is okay. Don't be afraid to fail. If you fail, okay, so what? You move on. And I just see you just going. Before we started this recording, we're talking about how you record your blogs, your posts. There's not too much drama. You just got your ring lights a few weeks ago, but you've been recording. And don't overthink it. Just, you guys go and look. She has lots of content that is talking about real life, just quick reels that affect. And I watch them and I have a lesson from it. So you're impacting people, whether you know or not. So you're doing this social impact, yeah? Tell us your own confidence. What has that done for it?
I mean, so when you do stuff that you feel like you can't do, it kind of like sets the pace for, I can do it. I can, like, it just helps. It has helped build my own confidence, just to answer the question. So when I think of crazy ideas, I think when I thought about Port Harcourt, it was a battle last year. So I can tell. So I mean, I was struggling between EFP. It's called EFP, Employability Fitness Program, last year, and I was like, nah, every year is my year of rest, because I feel like every year I don't used to rest. So actually, 2021 was a very busy year for me. Then 2023, I said, this is my year of rest. I'm going to rest. I'm not going to do any events. You're everywhere. But God was like, you have to do something. But I was like, And then when God was going to show me Shege, right? You know when you're battling with God. And I went for this event that Jimmy Tewe held, right? On the normal day, Saturday, I went to my house. But the day before, God said, you need to go for this event. And I'm like, okay, God. It's like when I went for that event, it's like he brought a knock, was all knocking my head. Everything that they were saying in
Was
that
resonating.
event was not resonating. They were talking to me. And in that event, God said, you don't want to do Lagos, you're going to go to Port Harcourt. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I was literally in tears, like real tears. People will be looking at me and like, what's wrong with this girl? In that event, God was saying, you are struggling with Lagos, you must go to Port Harcourt. And that's why I said, you know what? I mean, it has happened now. I've struggled with you now. So I said, okay. And I started planning for Port Harcourt just 2 months. It was in November. It was September. That event was like August, September. And it was 2 months I planned for that event. So one thing about me, when I say I can do all things, I can do all things through Christ. If God has said you have to do something, I can do all things. So, I mean, there's one video I recorded that it will go all wrong, but you'll be fine. That's my life. I would struggle. And even as at 2 weeks before the event, I was, writing for sponsors. Everybody was serving me breakfast. And I was like, God, it's not you that sent me this message. Like, why am I struggling? And the truth is, I could afford the event. I mean, I could. I literally even paid like 70 or 80% of it. But I wanted brands to support. And I was like, why isn't anyone? But just 2 weeks before, probably just a week before, all the people I knew said no. But the people I didn't know, the people that have sponsored the event, I just literally wrote to her on LinkedIn. I said she spoke to her boss and they said somebody in Abuja. Just happened, right? And I didn't know anybody. Yeah. So it happened. It was really stressful because it happened at a time when I think we laid off that day. I was on the plane. I was entering the plane and they were doing the town hall for laying off, and I was there, and then I landed and they're like, Yewande, where are you? And I was arranging venue, but I survived. Right? So I think what it does is that if I can do that Port Harcourt event, I came back, I think I slept for 2 days straight because of the stress. If God says you're going to Abuja or UK or whatever, I don't know. I pray not. Yeah, I would do it because I just had this backing that you've done magic before. You can do it again.
It's very interesting. So the lesson in that for me that I'm taking is where your usual suspects, the places the familiar places, they didn't show up for you. It's the unfamiliar that showed up. That's very interesting because I can even think of places where that has happened for me, where you're seeking help and there are people you think are able to, and you feel entitled to that help. But when it doesn't come, it's possible for you to then go and be disappointed. But if you just stay in the place where you were sent. So we're talking here, and as a person of faith, like you've said it here, guys, you've heard, you already know. And as a person of faith that I am, I don't want to go where God did not send me. I don't want to go and do what did not send me. And sometimes going to do where you feel there is a burden. See, the person with the message has the burden to make sure it's delivered. You don't have to do it yourself. But just make it happen. If your role is clear, then go ahead and do it. And the resources for it usually come. Yeah. Sometimes we are trapped by when we think we know where these resources should come from. So you could have stopped there and say, you see all the places I know, they did not come to, so therefore there's a sign I'm not going. But you kept and you sent to people that you didn't know and you came through. That's what I heard. If I'm explaining it in how you did not mean, that's the message that came to me, and I appreciate it. So thank you. So because you did, we can. Yeah. If you like, don't accept it. Okay. So in my next question is, if you are mentoring a younger version of yourself, you said you started Career Life because you were thinking of your future self and helping people in their current self prepare for their future self. So you were paying it forward. Now, today, as you're sitting here, being the number one career coach. So guys, anytime I say this and I laugh, just know that it's an internal joke. I've teased her with this. She has pushed it off. Now she just smiles and accepts it. Sometimes she does this with it, so it's fine. But I will laugh every time I say it. Now that you're the number one career coach in the world, you've graduated from Africa.
Amen. No.
If you were mentoring your younger self, give one piece of advice to navigating the corporate world.
Corporate world?
Yes, corporate world.
I would say don't overthink it. So, I mean, this is just my younger self. The younger version of Yewande, I mean, I'm like a perfectionist, right? I feel like everything needs to follow a certain path, and I actually beat myself up a lot when things don't work according to my plan. But right now, I've learned. So the first thing is to just like embrace the uncertainty. If I were to advise my younger self, embrace the challenges and don't make it about you.
You have to give us more than this. How do I embrace a challenge?
So most times we make it about ourselves. So I've been in a job where, I left a job that I was like a performer. I was doing well, but I left the job then. I was pregnant then, my first, and I moved to fry pan. Like I literally saw all the red flags, and I went into that job, and I began to question myself. It was fire. So I wasn't even a fire. I just moved from a warm environment to a fire. Very toxic place. And then I made it about myself that, okay, I wasn't doing or I wasn't something. But I feel like if I were to tell myself, it's just part of life. Challenges and issues, it's just part of life. It's not about you. It's about what you decide to do about it, right? So first is, adapt to because I've seen small shiggy. Adapt to it and don't make it about yourself. right? So take Yewande away from it and just address the situation based on what it is. That's what I would tell myself. Before I will mix Yewande with the problem. And so it becomes very complex. All right? So that's one thing. I think that's it. And don't overstress, because I was fine eventually.
Even in that environment.
Yeah, I survived. So I left that environment without having another job, and I got a job in 2 weeks. You should I told my mother-in-law that I was on a 2 weeks holiday. That I wanted to prepare for my CIPM. I wrote my final exam Friday, Saturday. I got my offer on that Friday. I was fine. Do you understand? But then the mental torture and the stress, and I still do have it. But right now, I just learned that I will be fine eventually. So
And
now I have that confidence. Like, nothing can shake me because I will be fine.
This thing is so powerful. Like, I don't know. See, guys, like, subscribe, share, do everything you can, because the people that come and sit here, they drop gems that even sometimes I'm like, I have to recap what I'm hearing, because this is Strive Not Survive with Coach You. I'm a coach. Let me mirror it back.
Executive coach. Let me wind you back.
Thank you. But what I'm hearing is, don't make it about you. You're talking, some coaching principles are in what you said, which is the problem. Extricate yourself from that problem, and you can deal with the problem. You can be more objective with the problem. If you dwell, you're now looking at your failing points. You're internalizing, and it clouds your vision. That mental vision you need to have to see your next step. It clouds it, and you can't move. So think about, it's not me, but there's an issue here. And if you want to focus on what you can control, this will be a recurring theme on this podcast, is focus on what you can control. If you want to focus on what you can control, look at what you can do in the problem. And whether it's perfect now or not, you just realize that it's a journey. So that's the final theme I heard. This is a journey. I'm building my confidence. I'm continuing to grow. The fact that I'm still here means I can continue. Thank you. This is very interesting. For people to get these kinds of lessons, they've, as you said, seen shege. Yeah, these types of lessons don't come as a pie. They come like the oven. Right? Nice. Okay. So I have a question for you. How do you balance the pressures of advancing in your career with maintaining soft life, with your well-being? How do you balance that?
Intentionality. I mean, I don't just live. So like the former Yewande, I also have like things that I do to kind of like help me balance. I always say when I'm at work, I'm at work. And when I'm at home, I'm at home. When I'm at work, I barely think about home. When I'm at home, I barely think about work. So work cannot finish. My to-do list has not finished. Yeah. So, but when I'm at home, I'm fully present. That's one. Other thing is, I find, so I'm a K-drama fan. So
What? Say it loud.
K-drama.
Okay.
So that's one of my escape. So I always say that I use my brain at work. I don't want to watch a movie and use my brain. So that's why I like K-drama. I don't want to have to think that, okay, what happened there? Who killed who? You get all this. We are watching movies that you have to.
Using your mind.
Yeah, I don't want to use my brain. I just want to go into a world that I know is not real. Do you understand? And the way I pace, I'm not one that binges on movies. Like, I love my sleep. I can't let go of my sleep. So it's 1 episode or 2 episodes a day. When you look forward to just watching that 2 episodes, it works. That's one. Then I take 1 hour walks every day, 9 to 10, where I don't have to see people and greet people at night. So that way I'm like listening to music, and that's when I get to pray and I listen to my audio Bible, right? Then I swim thrice a week. I just started this hobby in July. So they know me. I know the times, and I swim like before work. So 7:30 to 8:30. And it's just only me in the water before anybody comes. So that helps me. So I must meet my daily calorie burn and my steps and all of that. It helps me to stay active, and then K-drama. So that's balancing. In family life as well, I'm also intentional about like intentional parenting. You know, these Instagram people that'll be bullying you that you cannot parent well. Right? So the one I can do, because sometimes I used to feel like, these mothers, they are doing this, they are doing that. You are so focused on your career. I beg. What I can do is what I can do. This one, they are full-time housewives. Me, I'm not. So I look at what's within my capacity and I try to be fully present for my children. So it gives me that satisfaction, right? I'm like my son's maths teacher, right? So when you see that it's really good in maths, you know, kudos to me. Then when I'm at work, I lock my door. I probably don't come out to 7 p.m. But when I come out 7 p.m., I'm with them from 7 to like 8:30. I put them to sleep. Then I go and take my stroll. So I have my me time every day. I must tick that box. So like 360, then I have my God time, my Yewande time, my swimming time, my exercise time. So I'm intentional about balancing my life. Then other aspects of my life coming.
Look at all these people just figuring it out and having this formula that work. What I'm hearing from you, because when you said something about when I'm at work, when I'm at home, I'm like, you have to tell us, how are you managing it? How do you make sure that you can be at work when you're at work? That there's no infringing on your time. It means you have like some support.
Oh, I do. I do have I told you now. I have 2 grandmothers. They are the owner of the children. I just give birth to the children for them. Right? So I have my mom that lives just 15 minutes away. And my mother-in-law that is with me Monday to Friday. Then I have a full-time nanny as well. Yes, and I have a grandfather that my father is retired. He's not doing anything. So he's only just come and be picking the children and dropping them and driving them. So come and pick your children, you will pick and drop. So, I mean, if you see me, it's like today, they've come and carry their children. And they will bring them back tomorrow. I literally don't have. So I am blessed. It's a privilege I don't take for granted. And I pray that they live till at least 90, that my son is almost 20. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot involved in making that happen because you're also managing the relationships and they're feeling like you're not taking them for granted. There's a lot of dynamic that has to go in there. So your picture might look different from someone else's picture, but there's also work you have to do to make that support system a relevant and continued support system within what's in your control. As I'm saying it, you can resonate, right? Now, for those of us who don't have all the grandparents around, there's something in what Yewande just said, which is be intentional. Get the help. Build the support system for yourself that gives you what you want. It's figuring out what you want. She's realized that she wants to be a career person. So to enable her focus on that career, and she works from home.
Like not all the time. I go to work twice a week.
Okay. On the 3 days that she's working at home, she's at work. Yeah. So there's something, that intentional career person, an intentional mother, an intentional Yewande, intentional person. I really like it. So I'm hearing that, that time you're building for yourself to be able to give properly to how your work and life are all integrated. You don't want to be giving from an empty well. So you have all of that. And well done. I'm admiring it. Okay. So let us see. We talked about what does success, building your career. So I'm curious, what does success look like for you today? Will you say you are successful? And what does it look like, for you in future? How are you building?
I think for me, success is when I'm fulfilled. And so what makes me fulfilled? I always say something that my own account balance is not money, although money is important, but sometimes seeing the result of your work. So 2 aspects. In my core career, like my full-time HR job, success for me is progress. And progress is not promotion. It's like I started at this level, I met this problem, I was able to solve this problem, and I'm able to get past it. In my personal life, with career life, success is the lives that I'm able to touch. There's this thing I had on my laptop screen during NYC days, and I think I'm living that life that, not quoting it, is, I want someone to say that because of you, I did this. I want to inspire people to the level that because of you, I did it. And it was on my laptop screen, but right now, that's like my reality. even before becoming a coach, some organizations that I can't even enter, that have rejected me and given me, I have people there. I can tell you I have people almost everywhere. I have like my career lifers everywhere, because either directly or indirectly, they read my article, they watched my video, or they've been for any of the events. They're saying that because of you, I'm able to do this. That's like my food, right? And I get that a lot. So sometimes even when my battery is low and I'm down, I'm so happy. So let me give you one scenario. In 2021, I gave birth during COVID, January. And it was a very rough time for me. So my husband had COVID. I was pregnant. January 13th, I was in labor, but I couldn't say anything because like I was driving him to the hospital, whatnot. And that day, so on the 13th of January, it was 13th or 14th, I was so stressed that when I came, I went to pick his drugs in the hospital, and I just got to the car and I was just weeping. And even the security was just knocking. I was just weeping. I was like, God, I don't know what I can do. I can't even tell him that I'm currently in pain, but he's in greater pain. But I needed to give birth. And then all of a sudden, like God heard me, and I drove home. And then dispatch guy just called me and said, I have a package for you. And then one of my career lifers, I don't know, she was one of my volunteers, Philly. She sent me just a burger with a very long note telling me how valued I was, and I gave birth no long. I was like, it's like, God, you need, because at that point I was like the lowest of the low. Like, what's happening? I was like, every pressure was on me, and I was at the point where nobody could understand, right? So when I just saw that note, I think I kept it. I was like, I needed that at that second, and I got it through someone from Career Life. So most times when people give me feedback, even on LinkedIn, it's always at times where probably I'm stressed and I'm asking myself, hey, Annie, who sent you a message? What are you doing? Because right now I'm carrying like 4 or 5 things. I have a full-time job. I have an NGO. I have a coaching business. I have this. I'm like, it just comes. So that's success for me. And I think it makes me fulfilled. Even if things probably may not go the way I want it to go, it has always gone the way it is meant to go.
Man, I don't even know what. Say more. Just tell us more. What else do you have that you want to share with who's watching you? Because I need to just process this a little bit. Remember one time I said, because you did, we can. Like, we feel like it's trying this permission. So tell us. Well, add more to the story behind your magic.
So success is intangible. So yeah, so sometimes people chase success in terms of money. I always tell people that money is a distraction. That's the way I see it. It's a distraction. I mean, come from the spiritual angle, but like God has given us all of these things. And so what the devil does is, it makes us focus on money. We're pursuing growth. I want to be successful in my career. I want to do this. But then if you give yourself I don't know about, it has worked for me. Those other things eventually come. Yeah. So in the intangibles so right now I don't chase money or chase whatever. It's how can I add value? So even if I come up with anything, like I think this program I did on LinkedIn, I just thought about it. How can I add value? What can I do? What is within my bounds? Because now I have 1,000,001 ideas, but I cannot keep myself. And then so once you chase those things, value, and you don't make it about yourself. Yeah. Because if you are selfish and you want to have money, focusing on you, when you focus on inflation, I don't listen to news anymore. I really don't know what's happening right now, and I don't want to know, because I don't want to live in that reality of everything is difficult and whatever. So I think fulfillment just comes when I'm chasing things that matter to me, that make me happy. I do what makes me happy, not what the world has defined that, Friday night you must go out. No, I won't stay in my house. I don't know. I want to stay in my house. That's success. And if I want to go out, then I want to go out. So I do what makes me happy, and I think I'm successful.
I love this. So it's about, what is it? How do you define your fulfillment? Mm-hmm. And your fulfillment is your success. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I really like this. So guys, we've been with the amazing coach, Yewande Jinadu, the #1 career coach in the world. Ever leave it. Thank you.
Amen.
Amen. Yes, say it. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for dropping these gems. And you said something about the LinkedIn program. What's that? Tell us. Plug it in shamelessly.
Oh, the career and leadership series with Coach YJ. So I just started this. It's like you were my second guest. So I hope to do it every month. But yeah, I think it's just why I started it is just to like draw more attention about career coaching and just to make people more aware, and also to kind of like a free, because the kind of information shared are things that people ideally will pay for. So just like to share knowledge, not to bottle it up and just know things on your own. Yeah. So it's on LinkedIn. If you follow me, you should see the post.
Yeah, nice. So yours truly was the last guest. Hope it made sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And with that, we've come to the end of today's session. You will see a lot more of Coach YG, which is a short moniker, on this program. Thank you for being a part of this. We will be giving you more tips, bringing more people that will give you tips on how to thrive and not survive. Like, click, share, follow, whatever it is you do on whatever platform you found us. And see you next time.